Well, John, we've seen in the past and also in the present with this present thing going on in Congress that they have ex-CIA people as members of the staffs, congressional staffs, and liaison people with these congressional staffs and the various government agencies. How, it looks to me like it's carefully controlled, if not contrived. But this looks like this is a usual thing for the CIA, either present or past operatives and personnel, to link up with key congressional committees that are involved with CIA activities?
Being less than dumb, the CIA has salted its agents throughout the Congress, every committee. And it's done this, you know, it did it 3 decades ago. And we're seeing it once again, but it's standard. For example, when I testified to the Senate Oversight Committee in '77, when my letter came out and, you know, the book following, and hearings not dramatic like these, but nevertheless on the same subject of perjury and cover-up and law-breaking by the National Security Council and the CIA, they guaranteed, the Senate, Gary Hart, guaranteed me protection, that the CIA would never know the source of this information. And Gary Hart personally, you know, has said that, and I was skeptical. I said, there's no way you can protect me for speaking out. And he made a kind of a pious speech and said, you know, if we can't protect our sources from these guys, what chance do we have of ever getting into the truth of these matters? So I testified at length. I took his word for it, and I testified at length. And then I flew down here to Texas to check my notes to get some more information on Friday, to fly back on Sunday to testify again on Monday. And when I got up there on Monday, they had already transcribed and sent to the CIA my testimony. And so just, you know, for spite, I bearded them. I mean, I knew that the CIA would get this testimony, but nevertheless I said, you gave me your word. You absolutely guaranteed. Bill Miller was the chief staffer. And Gary Hart, you gave me your word you would protect me, and you made an issue out of it, and then without even clearing it with me, you sent my testimony to the CIA. And their answer was, well, come on, in truth, we can't get into something like this without making them aware of it, in addition to which they already had copies, as I'm sure you knew well. Now, 2 people sitting on the committee staff in the hearings were former colleagues of mine, at that point working full-time for the Senate Oversight Committee staff.
And no doubt leaking the documents back.
Open plants, right. Open plants, right, on the innermost committee. This symbiotic relationship, you know, it's called the old boy thing, it's called the establishment. Now, of course, the classic case is this Tom Polgar, who's been brought in to help the Congress organize the investigation of the Iranamuk scandal. This is the chief of station from Saigon who is responsible for the great debacle of the evacuation.
He was the one you told us about in a previous program who gave top secret American information weekly to the North Vietnamese.
Yeah, to the Hungarians who were delivering it to the North Vietnamese, and thwarted our efforts to plan for an effective, orderly withdrawal, and honored CIA agents who had dumped their Vietnamese employees, and intervened up country to save the Hungarian communists who were in up-country posts, who were no danger, but to fly them out courtesy of the CIA, and who, while he was keeping us from getting our people out, got his own personal household effects out safely early. While he was telling us there wasn't going to be an evacuation, he packed up his own personal stuff and got it out.
And now he's the liaison man. What exactly is his function in this committee?
I don't know exactly how, but it's been published that he's been brought in to help them investigate.
Yeah.
I mind you, this is a very, very senior CIA official, now retired, and so he would not be a clerk.
And he would obviously be leaking back to the CIA whatever he thought they'd want to know that Congress was investigating.
And also having lunch and breakfast with senators and guiding their thoughts with suggestions and
leading them away from certain sensitive CIA operations.
Using his influence.
Well, let's face it, there aren't too many senators and congressmen that are overly bright and informed, so they rely on these people.
Yeah.
And they're completely ignoring the Christic Institute case in Miami, where they have all this information and they're laying it out.
Yeah, the Christic Institute thing is, I talked to Anthony Lewis about it, and he wouldn't respond with
New York
interest.
Times, right?
Yeah, now, he's perhaps the most liberal or the closest to a progressive of any major columnist, and I couldn't get any response from him on that. Now, as we've said before, the Christic Institute invites some criticism because a lot of stuff they're putting out in that affidavit is not accurate. And when we've documented that for them, by me, myself, Frank Snepp, and Ralph McGehee, who were there in Vietnam and said this is clearly not wrong, instead of cleaning it up,
Not right.
not right, yeah, not correct. Instead of cleaning it up, they have reprinted the thing and then continued mailing it out. And Danny Brandt and others, you know, checking them out on errors. But see, that's not why the major media is boycotting the Christic thing. The major media is not willing to cut loose or disassociate from Secord and Shackley and crew. And that's, you know, when it gets right down to it, someone who's attacking them, those individuals, is attacking the establishment of which the major media is apparently part, because they will not join in even basic publicity for a lawsuit that's exposing these people. They're boycotting it because it's striking too close to the heart of the establishment itself.